So with a new Bond film out in cinemas, I thought it was the perfect opportunity to talk about one of my favourite elements of the Bond franchise, and it's not the indiscriminate murder. I am, of course, talking about the franchise's iconic and memorable musical motifs. So iconic, in fact, that there are some musical elements that will be forever associated with the franchise, no matter where they're used. In this video, I'm going to talk about the elements that I think best capture the iconic sound of the Bond themes and create my own using these elements. Now let's get on with it. The Songwriter's Guide for Writing a Bond Theme. When talking about the elements that make a Bond theme, I've decided to break down the elements into 4 categories: instrumental, harmonic, melodic, and lyrical. With that said, let's get on to our first category. Part 1. Instrumental elements. Now, the instrumental elements that make up a Bond theme are perhaps the most straightforward, but also the most variable. Bond themes are usually made out of varying levels of jazz, classical, and pop elements. For example, the iconic Bond theme was written for a jazz big band of saxophones and assorted brass, solo guitar, and a rhythm section. The guitar in this theme, as well as on later Bond themes, utilises a tremolo effect. Something associated with spy films as well as many spaghetti westerns of the era as well. This instrumentation became the backbone for many later Bond themes, with following themes swapping out elements and introducing the piano and string section to these themes, with many modern Bond themes going for more of a ballad sound, with the piano and strings at the forefront. Another element that some Bond themes borrow from jazz is the use of swing or shuffle, though this is more popular in earlier themes. I've decided to put the piano and strings at the forefront of my piece, introducing guitar, bass, drums and brass as the theme goes on. This theme will also be swung to help harken back to the stylistic origins of these themes. Part 2. Harmonic elements. So it's impossible to talk about Bond themes without mentioning the iconic riff that permeates almost all Bond themes, which I'm going to inelegantly call 5-6 flat 7-6. This theme is so associated with the Bond franchise at this point that it's basically impossible to use outside of the context of a Bond theme, which is a shame as it sounds great. The riff is played on the 5th of the minor key and ascends up and down in semitones, creating a sneaking feeling due to the small regular movement and the contrast between the in-key 5th and 6th and the out-of-key flat 7th. While this riff is not always explicitly used as a riff in its own, it is often used as part of the chord sequence, with the first chord containing the 5th, the second chord containing the 6th, and the third chord containing the flat and 7th, as can be heard in such themes like Skyfall. I have decided to utilise this technique in my chord sequence, whilst also including the riff on the tremolo guitar in the background to make this element more noticeable. An element we've just touched on there is the Bond franchise's use of chromaticism. While this is often heard through the 5-6 flat 7-6, it is also utilised in other manners. A good example of this would be in Goldfinger, which opens with a vamp between E and C. Two chords which do not fit in the same key. These chords contain notes a semitone away from each other, helping to build tension and resolution each time they play. Often these chromatic elements are achieved through use of modal interchange, a technique where you borrow chords from related keys. This is commonly done to the 5th chord in a key, turning it into a dominant 7th chord to direct the listener back home. I've decided to use this in my piece, ending my pre-chorus with a dominant 7th to direct the listener into the hook. One last piece of harmony used in Bond themes is a specific chord often known as the spy chord, due to its association with the Bond franchise. The spy chord, also known as the minor major ninth, is a minor chord with an additional major 7th and 9th in it. Due to the standard diatonic scale not containing a major 7th for a minor chord, this chord contains a lot of dissonance and tension, helping to create an uncertain feeling in the listener, perfect for leading into the film. While this chord is more used as a decoration at the end of Bond films, it is incredibly iconic, and I will make sure to end my piece with a version of this chord. Part 3. Melodic elements. Alongside the semitone movement in the Bond riff and the chord sequence to Goldfinger, this small melodic movement also plays a key role in building the tension of vocal parts in the Bond themes. Bond themes will often contain larger vocal jumps alongside small semitone movements when appropriate, especially at the ends of lines to help build dissonance and uncertainty. This effect can also be achieved through the use of blue notes. Something often utilised in Bond themes is a call and response between the vocal and the instruments, with the lead vocal singing a melody and the instruments replying to it. This can sometimes be with a variation of the original melody, or can be entirely different. A great example of this is We Have All the Time in the World, which weaves Louis Armstrong's vocal in and out of the string melody, or the iconic brass response in Goldfinger. As well as including call and response in their melodies, many Bond themes include unique elements in their arrangement or melodies, such as the Japanese-style plucked strings in You Only Live Twice, the glitch hop beat and sampling of Die Another Day, or the new wave sound of A View to a Kill. I've decided to stay fairly faithful to the style of a traditional Bond theme in my version, putting a small spin on the piano with a descending arpeggio forming the backbone of the piano part. Part 4. Lyrical elements. Now this is probably going to be the shortest section as I'm not an expert at lyric writing. However, a common theme I've noticed in many Bond themes is a big focus on lyrics that are vague and introspective. These lyrics are often about betrayal or loss and often become questions in the pre-chorus, like an internal monologue of Bond himself. Lines like, "Should I risk it all?" and "Was I stupid to help you?" reinforce this. Some earlier Bond themes take a different approach, almost a description of the story or of the title character. He's the man with the Midas touch is a great example of this. Another key element is the title drop, with many Bond themes either opening the verse or chorus with the title, or ending the chorus with it to emphasise its importance. With my lyrics, I've decided to go more vague and introspective with the title drop in the chorus of the piece. Due to writing a Bond theme for a non-existent film, I've decided to choose a random phrase and change one of the words for die, as this is a common technique when naming Bond films. The film my theme will be written for is called The Heart Never Dies, after the phrase The Heart Never Lies, which I assume is a phrase rather than just a McFly song. With all that done, let's hear it in action.
Weighing on my mind, don't know if I should run or hide. No one's on my side, trying hard now to bide my time. The heart never dies. No, the heart never dies. It will keep you deprived, 'cause the heart never dies. No, the heart never dies.
Thanks for giving this video a watch. If you found this helpful, please give it a like and share it around to anyone that you think would benefit from it. If you have any comments on this video or suggestions for future videos, let me know and I'll be sure to consider them.